This week, we're brought to you by our friends at Outer Loop and their new game, Dosa Divas. I love talking with the team last year at Giant Bomb at night during Summer Game Fest. You might remember Dan trying to teach that team how to cook, maybe smashing Doritos in there. Well, now the team has gotten over whatever ailed them with that to deliver the game. Their new game, Dosa Divas, is an RPG where you play as two cool sisters who pilot a mech that cooks tasty food that packs a punch during combat. It is out now on Steam and the big consoles. It's a game that feels like you made a stew with parts of Octopath Traveler, Cooking Mama, and Super Mario RPG. Check out the Steam page, give it a wish list, and buy it if it looks like your speed. The game is funded by Outer Sloth, the fine folks who run Among Us. And as part of that publishing deal, the team gets a healthy part of the sales of each copy sold directly to them right from the get-go before making their budget back. So your support does mean a lot to the dev team. Again, that's Dosa Divas, out now. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Game Mess Mornings with me, Jeff Grubb, your host from giantbomb.com. Thank you for tuning in. In this episode, we're going to be talking about multiple Switch 2 games leaking early and what's the holdup with GTA 6 on PC specifically. This is going to be a good one because we have Jason Fanelli on the show. Jason, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thought we were going to do this later in the week, but things got mixed up. Happy to be here on a Wednesday.
Yeah,
I almost said Friday. I think
it'd be a Fanelli Friday on a Wednesday.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Start the weekend early, y'all. Everyone take off the next 2 days. You have my permission. Send your boss to me. It's Fanelli Friday on a Wednesday. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. We are really in a busy time here in House Fanelli with my theater group, which I'm repping today as many ways as possible. We open on Friday. Little kiddo has her first ever role. She splits it, so she doesn't actually go till Saturday, tonight being the final rehearsal. I had our 12-hour marathon on Sunday where I fell off the stage. We talked about that earlier. I'm feeling better. I didn't actually hurt myself. It was more adrenaline than anything else. But like Pragmata earlier this week, I interviewed Pragmata. Jesus. I reviewed Pragmata for MMORPG. Thought that was really cool, but unfortunately, everyone's calling it a dad game. It's not quite a dad game. There's another way to put it.
A little bit different.
It's a little bit different, but I think where they reveal... It's
a fatherhood game. Different thing. It's a fatherhood game.
I wouldn't even... I don't know if I would even...
I haven't played it yet, so you tell me.
Maybe. There's a word I would use, but the embargo details cut us off after a certain point, and I think the point where he reveals this thing about himself is after that point. So I'm hesitant to say it until the full embargo is up.
Got it.
Like, let's play embargo. So maybe Friday. I think somebody is going to write about it on Friday. So I'll link to that and talk about what I'm talking about there. Correct. But I really, really enjoyed it. The hacking was good. The shooting was good. The relationship between the Hugh and Diana is wonderful. The first time she ran up to me, "Hey, Hugh, I did something for you," and drew a picture, I was like, I have experienced this in my real life hundreds of times, and it never gets old, and the feeling is exactly the same. Love the hell out of that. Mouse, I also played a little bit of Mouse. Haven't quite beaten that one yet. Really like the vibe. Really like the old school shooter feel, but I just need to get more time into that one too. Busy time. How you doing? How you holding up there, Jeff?
Doing good. Yeah. My robot lawnmower saga has been ongoing again. I kind of got it working now. That was good. But I discovered the problem, which was the thing I was most worried about. The 2 batteries that were in there completely shot. So I spent all evening yesterday getting that going to a certain degree. I have 1 battery in there now, which means it doesn't run nearly as long as I would like. So still working to get that fixed. But yeah, that's been my evening right now because the grass just popped out of the ground like crazy the second it got a little bit warm. Just crazy.
Same. It's a jungle out there. I lose my dogs. I have small dogs and I can't see them in some of the patches. Sure.
Yeah. So I got that figured out. But yeah, I was playing some Mouse PI as well. I think it's not a bad game. It's not fully clicking for me is all. Sure. You know, it's a boomer shooter, and the boomer shooter parts are pretty good, and then the game kind of plays everything else pretty straight. And I don't know. I'm just not getting onto the same wavelength that is.
I mean, that's part of it. I have to untrain myself to aim, which is weird. Like I want to aim down the sights, and I can't do that. But also, real quick, just to address chat before you get started, Pragmata for a second. Look at me, chat. Look at me in my eyeballs. It is not a Mega Man game, okay? It is not. I am sorry.
That's what someone would say if it was a Mega Man.
I am sorry. It is not. That's it. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, chat's still not going to believe you, absolutely. But yeah, I think I don't think there are headshots in Mouse PI. I was shooting the characters in the head and shooting them in the body, and it felt like it always took the same amount of hits, which is weird for the type of game it's trying to be at this point.
And it's also weird that there are different animations for if you do shoot them in the head, their head can explode, but it doesn't do any more damage. You're right about it. It just so that didn't feel great to me. Maybe that's where all of my problems emerge from, but we'll see. All right, let's get into the show, and that means let's explain what we do here. We're Giant Bomb. If you go to giantbomb.com/join, become a premium member, what you do is you support independent games media, which we are deeply appreciative of, and it also gets you ad-free versions of our shows and all of our premium content, including Marry Me Tomodachi, The 9 Lives of Mr. Mistopheles, Portal Pals. A new episode went up yesterday. That's episode 2. It's got some really great moments. Go check that out. It's going to get you early access to our endurance run when we drop that in a handful of weeks. Timeline is iffy there, but it's coming soonish, everybody. Just hang in there. But yeah, what it really gets you is that satisfaction of supporting independent games media going into an uncertain future. As far as this show goes, most weekdays, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS feed on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. All right, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with Tomodachi Life reviews are in. It has a 78 on OpenCritic right now. Kind of a lot of 8s is really what's happening. sometimes you get the high 70s, low 80s, and it's all over the place. And sometimes it's like everything's mostly concentrated in one place. A lot of 8s for this game. Dan Reichert from Giant Bomb gave it 3.5 stars and says, it may fall short if you're looking for a deep city builder or life sim, but as a piece of absurdist Dada comedy, I absolutely love Tomodachi Life, living the dream. Every day I look forward to booting it up, making a me or two, seeing what unlikely friendships are forming, and watching ludicrous vignettes play out. Giovanni Colantonio at Polygon writes, I entered words and objects into the island's language and watched as my characters mixed and matched them into their day-to-day interactions. Sometimes the results are nonsense. Other times, the simulation stumbles onto comedic gold so pointed you'd swear someone must be scripting things behind the scenes. One time I gave Todd Howard a role-playing game item. He was disappointed, saying it wasn't a very good fit for him. You couldn't write a funnier joke if you tried. It's, that's fantastic.
It's the emergent stuff here. Let's do this last one. 8 out of 10 from Ruben Mount at the 6th axis. Tomodachi Life, Living the Dream, is a weird game. I could leave my summary there and it would be entirely accurate. But more than that, Living the Dream is your weird. You can have an island of celebrity alikes hurling expletives at each other, or an island of your friends and family interacting in increasingly bizarre ways. And that's precisely the point. There's a degree of weird that's baked into the game, but from there, what you get out of it is what you put into it. Writing a review for this one is always going to be challenging, right? Because it is a storytelling engine. It is a tool for play. And it is less of a game, as Dan was alluding to there. So it's like these reviews are useful to a point for me, Jason. What's going to be very useful for me is when Emmy gets home from school on Thursday, and I sit her down in front of the full suite of features that this game had that she didn't have access to in the demo, which includes being able to basically make whatever you want. You could just make whatever item you want and give Dan had Marlboro cigarettes in his game. That's when I saw that, I was like, wait, what's happening? And they show me the tool to create this stuff. This is in the quick look. I did not realize that feature was in there where you can literally just make anything, call it whatever you want, hand it to your characters, and they can just do whatever. So people are going to get so much more creative than what we've seen in this review process. And that stuff, I think, is going to burst onto the scene instantly on social media. And that will be the real story to me of this game, is watching my kid, how she's able to use those creation tools to play the game the way she plays games, which is to tell stories with her characters. So if this game can feed that and facilitate that, it will be very different than the 78 on OpenCritic that we're seeing right now. How do you take all this?
100% in line with what you just said. My two kids have talked about this game every single day this week, knowing that the full game is coming. They got so into the demo and so angry that eventually they just shut all their Mii's to shut themselves in and said, play the full game. They created multiple Switch accounts so they could play the demo over and over and over and over again, even with those limited tools. So when they get the full breadth, I can't wait for the wild, wacky bullcrap stories they're going to tell with this thing. And being able to have them create their own items too, I don't know that they're going to have as much fun. I think they're going to do it, but I don't think the items they'll create will be as funny as the items that you or I would create, like the adult players would create. They're not going to be making Marlboro cigarettes, you know what I'm saying? But they may find another way to be funny. So I am fully on board with you that this is a game, a hard game to critically analyze, because the full value of it is when it gets into the broader zeitgeist, to use a pretentious term. When the game is given to the masses to let them run. And the fact that there are not many guardrails in terms of censorship or things you can create and put into the game, even from the demo, and now hearing you could put cigarettes, or like Giovanni's review, Mountain Dew, he put in there. And some of the Mii's he created Garfield, he created Skeeter from Doug, so David Lynch, and they all look amazing. I am excited for this. I know I'm in for 3 copies, my Switch 2 and the 2 Switch Lites in my house. And I'm just and I am just genuinely curious what they're going to do with this game, who they're going to create, how they're going to create it, and the stories that we will tell each other. My younger daughter is so excited. I could go to YouTube, put on the soundtrack for the breaking news segment, and she just goes into, today on my island, this Mii had a giant head. Just breaks right into the script. It's gonna be great. I can't wait.
Yep, I can't wait as well. The people are asking about when the quick look's going to happen. We're just going to hold it till the game's out, everybody, so you'll be able to catch it then. And then, just it's the easiest way to work with any embargoed information and stuff like that. So you'll get that then. And then I agree with this comment from Smooth. The value is how funny you are, basically, essentially saying the value you get out of it is the value that is whatever you put into it. Which I think that's I think that's only true to a certain point, right? Because the game is funny on its own. So it's like, as long as you're putting energy into the game and you're just throwing things in there haphazardly, there is always the chance that the game then takes that, mixes it up in such a way that you have unexpected comedic moments. And it's like, you could just be creative in your own way. And that could just be putting your family members in there, trying to make it as realistic as possible. And then the game will remix that in a way that could turn out to be very exhilarating. Looking forward to it. Always love Tomodachi Life. This, the story coming out about the developers in that interview that happened recently, where they're talking about, we were playing Tomodachi Life for the 3DS, and then we just kept playing it and playing it. We ran out of stuff to do. We basically had seen every scene, so we're like, we should make another one. And Nintendo said, that would be great. And so here we are. And you could tell that this game was made by people who really did enjoy what Tomodachi Life is, which I think is fantastic, because it's very different. We have The Sims. We have a city builder games. We have lots of city builder games. This thing is something different and needs to just be that, which is, again, why these reviews, trying to assess it as a game, only serve me as a reader so much. And I need to just see how the community is actually going to react.
Yeah, that first game I remember playing very fondly for months with Mii's from people that I had met in my time throughout Street Pass. I think I've mentioned this on the show before, but Satoru Iwata once stole my wife from me in that original Tomodachi game, the official Mii. And
story is all this time.
How could he not? But I think that might get lost, because the creation of the Mii, I might not have the time to put in. I kind of like being able to import Street Pass Mii's.
Agreed.
So that part might be a extra hurdle here. And I understand that the performance stage from the original game, where you could make your own musicals or make your own little songs,
one of the best parts of the game,
is not here. In this one, but that is something that could be patched. They could add that.
Something we could get an update.
I'm not
if that happens.
I'm not terribly worried about that at the moment. The value here, it's about time we had a game that's just stupid for the sake of being stupid. And sometimes stupid humor is just great. And we could use that in this day and age.
It is worth pointing out that although it's not like internal to the game, so it's always weird to be like, we're talking about the game, but no, this is part of it. Nintendo is limiting the online sharing on the system level for this game. So you could take screenshots, you could take clips, but then those screenshots and clips, at least this is my understanding of how it's going to work, you cannot then share those from your gallery on the Switch. So the only way to share this stuff is to point a camera at the screen or to capture it yourself,
right?
Which a lot of people are going to do, and that is a little bit harmful to the potential success of this game, because so much of it is, look what happened here, look what happened. Like those are the moments that I was enjoying from watching Dan play. It's like, look what happened here. And you're like, yeah, I can't wait for other people to see this because they're going to really appreciate the humor here. And that being limited is definitely a con for this game. But I think people are going to work their way around it. Life finds a way. I think that will happen here.
Yeah.
All right. We'll stick with Nintendo news. 2 first-party Switch 2 ratings have been spotted. This is from Liam Doolin at Nintendo Life. New ratings for Splatoon Raiders and Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave have reportedly been spotted on Nintendo's European web pages. The spin-off Splatoon Raiders now has a PEGI 7 rating, and the new Fire Emblem has apparently been updated for a provisional rating to a PEGI 12. According to Nintendo's official launch window schedule, Fire Emblem is due out at some point in 2026, and the release date for Splatoon Raiders is currently TBD. Now, there's more to this, because, okay, so 2 Nintendo Switch and first-party games leaking. It's okay, yeah, we know those have been coming for a long time, but there's been some new movement on their ratings. There is also a lot of other stuff happening, like I said, so that has caused people to begin speculating, is a Nintendo Direct coming soon? So in addition to the 2 aforementioned first-party games, others are also seemingly lying in wait, and we have that information from a bunch of other ratings agencies. Hell Is Us for Nintendo Switch 2, a rating for that game has surfaced.
That's interesting.
Yes, right. Hell Is Us feels like one of those ones that could certainly pop up in a Nintendo Direct. That game came out in 2025. We talked about it on the site. I think there is a quick look for that one as well. So if you want to see exactly what that game is, it was pretty good, pretty well received. And now a Nintendo Switch 2 rating has been discovered in the ESRB. Then Devil May Cry 5 seemingly coming to Nintendo Switch 2. Ooh. This is another one we've heard before from the Devil Hunter edition, but this has not been officially announced either. Diablo 4 Lord of Hatred, that has also had a rating surface online. I think that one might have come from the Indonesia's rating board, one of the ones that got hacked recently. And then Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, we talked about that on a show.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
So we got the cloud version on Switch 1, and they're going to make a native port for Switch 2, it seems like. That's according to this rating. So that is a lot of stuff that they could just announce at any time, right? They could announce the Diablo 4 port for Switch 2 at any time, and they haven't done that. And my guess would be because a lot of this stuff is lying in wait literally for a Nintendo Direct to pop off, so that's where they would all show up. I mean, that right there, that is 6 games. That is a good chunk of a very decent Direct, especially like a partner Direct maybe. What do you make of this? Does that sound right to you?
There's definitely some smoke here. There's definitely some fire for this smoke, excuse me. I think when it comes to Splatoon Raiders and Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, I think you can put Splatoon Raiders release date as the same day as whenever the Nintendo Direct is. That sounds like something that you show off at the very beginning and then say it's available at the end. Right, exactly. You do like a 5-10 minute trailer at the beginning and say, hey, this is available at the very end of this presentation. Go get it, right? Fortune's Weave, I expect to be somewhere in the back to school area, September, October, pre-GTA 6 to get it out there so people can play it. Not that many people will be jumping from Fire Emblem to GTA 6. I suspect the people who want to play Fire Emblem are going to stay there, but that sounds like something they would put there. As far as these third party are concerned, we just did a partner Direct, did we not? We have not had a true first party Nintendo Direct in 2026 yet. And I believe last year there was the April Switch 2 debut, and then there was a May Switch 1 the last Switch 1 Direct,
right,
and
where
then
we got
June was
Rhythm
both.
Heaven and Tomodachi Life. Yeah.
Exactly. So there is some room here where you could have like a small direct and then tease the big June one that you always do. That would have the two that I just mentioned, plus Hell Is Us, Devil May Cry, Diablo 4, and Guardians of the Galaxy. And Guardians of the Galaxy specifically, there being a cloud version for a Square Enix game tells me that if they ported this to Switch 2, Kingdom Hearts might not be far behind.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This may have been their experiment to iron everything out, and then you native port the Kingdom Hearts games and get them off the cloud.
The Guardians of the Galaxy team now is at Embracer Group, so who knows actually how that all connects and stuff. It could be true. You could still be right, because I don't know where at the end of the day where the rights lie, but who knows? There could be a separation there. Either way, so that doesn't even mention the rumors of a Star Fox and Ocarina of Time. Right now, the reporting is saying that Star Fox is going to get announced by itself on its own in the Nintendo Today app or on Twitter or on YouTube or something like that. And then
please don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, but then that's supposed to come in like June or July. It's supposed to come over the summer. And then the other rumor is that there would be a real direct in the June timeframe. A lot of this stuff could wait until then, but if any of it's coming sooner, I wouldn't be surprised if there is just a direct mini or something they've done like that before to set up that big direct in June, as you were saying. So we'll see. I'm certainly at a point where it's like, yeah, okay, this is a good list of ports to first party games. We got to get updated on Ocarina of Time for sure. And then what else do you have that's new? What other third parties have you worked with to like get something fresh on here, which they better have and they could have in a direct. So yeah, looking forward to it. It does feel like we are just kind of waiting for that dam to break with Star Fox and go from there.
And there's also that specter of the Smash Bros. Nintendo Switch 2 edition that never rumored, never speculated, but highly predicted, let's say. That's got to be floating out there in the ether. I think it's still the only top 10 Switch 1 selling game to not have a Switch 2 edition in any shape or form. So there's a lot
we're still on the cusp of when that would normally come out, or that they do put Switch to or Smash on their systems in year 2. So we might be approaching that here pretty soon. I mean, we're going to be in year 2 starting in May.
That's true. Yeah. So there definitely seems like the Nintendo Direct is coming, just a matter of when.
Yep, absolutely. All right, let's go ahead and take our break. Plenty of more headlines to get to after this. If you want to skip out on this, you're going to be able to do so. Go to giantbomb.com/join, become a premium member. But for now, if you are going to stick around and watch this, we are going to go throw to a Dosa Divas trailer. As a reminder, Dosa Divas is out now. You can go grab it. Let's go ahead and check it out.
What are you going to make?
I'll give you one guess.
Hello. Look around. Nobody wants to cook anymore. They want convenience. I won.
Hey, cooking mamas! I have that part. Check it out.
I'm going to punch you in the face.
Watch out!
Oh no. The ones who gave us life are gone.
Do you not care? Do you even have a job right now?
Hey!
Bring her out.
Did you miss me, goddess?
It's Game Best Mornings. We are back. That's Jason Fanelli. I'm Jeff Grubb. Let's get into this next story. Xbox is having, quote, very big discussions about exclusivity, says reporter. The story it hasn't gone away. This was something that popped up in that first week with Ashish Sharma taking over the role of president of Microsoft Gaming. And I think it hasn't gone away because maybe there is more smoke and suggesting that there's actual fire behind the scenes there. This is from Ben Carey at Pure Xbox. With Ashish Sharma now in charge of Microsoft's Xbox division, the team is going in a slightly different and more console-focused direction here in 2026, with Xbox exclusivity coming up as a hot topic for the new boss already. Whilst nothing has been confirmed publicly yet, and plenty of Xbox games are currently still scheduled to release on PS5, there are apparently internal talks going on about this very topic over at Microsoft HQ. In another podcast clip from Windows Central, reporter Jez Corden, the journalist talks a little bit about exclusivity on Xbox and how there are very, very, very big discussions happening internally about how Microsoft will deal with potential exclusives under the new Xbox regime. We don't really know the full nature of these discussions, but it sounds like it's something the team is keenly aware of looking into. He goes on to say, they do recognize the value. It's just about what kind of company do you want to be at the end of the day? Do you want to be an ecosystem company first, or do you want to be a publishing company first? And that's certainly the question. I think he elaborated somewhere on social media where someone's like, this is just, they're not going to give up that money they're getting from PlayStation. And he's like, look, Forza is probably never going to be exclusive again. That's been way too successful. But single player games, like those kinds of games that are more limited in terms of that don't have any multiplayer appeal and aren't going to like pop off in that way. He says those might return to being exclusive, similar to what PlayStation is thinking of doing with its games and PC. My question, Jason, is you can have all these discussions you want, but a huge part of that conversation, maybe the reason it is so big, is how does this work on the next Xbox that is going to be a PC? Because if you're going to open up to all these other stores, what that would really mean is not just no longer putting it out on PlayStation. I mean, maybe it does, but but let's get through this. If you put it on Steam and people can access Steam on these consoles, people will just use their Steam library that they already have and get those Xbox games on there. So if you're choosing to be an ecosystem company, and the whole idea is, okay, yeah, we want to get people into our ecosystem and make money from all these other purchases. So let's put out our new Xbox console, and whoops, everyone's using Steam instead. That does not function that way. So you'd have to also exclude Steam, which just didn't seem like that was in the cards. But that must be what this could be leading to.
No, I think they're more delusional and think that PC is first party. To be honest, anything on PC that uses Windows is first party, so they consider it a win just having it on a platform that this new Xbox can run. I honestly think this is just referring to PlayStation and perhaps to a lesser extent the Switch 2. They're just not going to do anything on those two consoles anymore. It'll be Xbox and PC, and they'll consider that first party. They'll consider that exclusive, console exclusive if they really want to get pedantic about it. But that's where I think they're falling here, because I don't think they'll ever consider PC and Xbox to be separate again. Right. They will never be separate ecosystems from one another. So if they want to get back into first party publishing and exclusive publishing, they have to keep the PC door open begrudgingly, because the Pandora's box of this is an Xbox opened the door for even more PC assimilation than was already there. And you just can't close that box again. You can't shut that door. So I think this is more about Sony and Nintendo getting Xbox games than it is about keeping the Xbox app the only place you can play this game. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I think the way they would have to think to believe that would be, if we sell people Xboxes, and even if we offer them Steam, most people just default to the Xbox interface and buying games through there. And maybe a lot of those people already have Xbox libraries. That makes some sense. But we could talk about what this actually all is. And I think Matt Piscatella had a post about this, which I will mostly copy the thought for thought here. He's like, yeah, it's a grass is always greener. These companies went from, hey, we're building up exclusives so we can build up our ecosystem, and that is the strategy for the business that we're in. And now all of a sudden, oh God, we kind of hit the ceiling of growth there, so we need to shift things up. So let's shift to a broader put games out everywhere strategy where we can make a lot more money from all these other platforms. ecosystems are the past. And it's like, okay, now we've sort of hit the ceiling over there on that as well. I mean, PlayStation certainly has, with a lot of its PC games not doing as well as they thought it would. So now the people who are in charge are like, okay, the future is ecosystems. Let's peel everything back, and let's go back to the way things were, because grass is always greener. And I think when what that really says is, I was always operating under some assumption that all that data, all that telemetry that these companies have, gave them some insight into the recent shift from ecosystems to putting their games everywhere, was just like a foregone conclusion. Like, hey, we're looking at the numbers here, and we have to do this. It's the only thing that makes sense, because that's just where the future actually is. And no, it was them sort of grasping at straws. They don't know any better than anyone else, which is a little disconcerting, actually. But I think that's what this is really all about, is new leadership has to try something different. And there's only kind of one other big idea option there. It's either you're a publishing company or you're an ecosystem company. And they're going to maybe flip-flop back and forth between those two, maybe ad infinitum into the future. What do you think?
And I wonder too, if timed exclusives might be something they're considering too, where they have like a have your cake and eat it too situation.
Certainly, yes.
It's exclusive to their Xbox PC environment for 6 months to a year, basically what they're doing now, and then they port it to the other consoles and see what kind of extra revenue they can get on that return. As we'll talk about in the next story here, it actually seems to be benefiting them to do those timed exclusives, not necessarily launch day and date on everything. So again, I can see them trying to get both patches of grass to be greener. That's a very weird analogy to make, but make all the grass green. Why does that have to be greener over there? Let's have every piece of grass be Xbox green, and see how that split works for them. This all ultimately, every time I hear Asher Sharma say something, it all just seems like they're really trying to backpedal off of the whole "this is an Xbox" thing.
Oh yeah,
right?
Apparently a lot of people hated that, and it sounds like she certainly does.
Yeah, and that backpedaling, it will probably take a full year at this rate. But I think they'll keep backpedaling from that until the showcase, when they finally have a chance to say, "This is the new Xbox. This is what we are," and then off we go.
Yes, I bet they've spent the last few weeks since that change, like reshaping that Xbox showcase to really establish a new brand future, a new brand identity into the future. Let's get to that next story, as you were saying, from Reese Elliott on Twitter. Shouts out to Reese. We got to get him back on here soon. Some more positive data for Xbox games on PlayStation. Forza Horizon 5 has sold a nuts 5.7 million copies on PS5, on PS5 alone. Generating upwards of $320 million in gross revenue. This is, and just to throw things out there, Reese knows his stuff on this. He works for Alina Partners. They have their way of collecting data that isn't perfect, but whenever I talk to people in the industry at these companies where they're making these estimates for, like when they're making these estimates about these companies, the people at those companies are like, yeah, that's basically it. That's like, we're surprised that is basically right. So yeah, that $320 million number, probably correct. This is a phenomenal performance for a legacy port, setting a massive precedent for the future of the Forza franchise. Looking ahead, I can only wonder how much higher the ceiling would have been for Forza Horizon 6 if it were coming to PS5 on day one. And it's, I think what you're alluding to, Jason, what I agree with is, for now, these numbers for Forza Horizon 5 say you don't have to make the quick leap to it comes out day one to PlayStation 6. You do have a lot of wiggle room to have your cake and eat it too here a little bit. Have some timed exclusives, and then still have success on PlayStation. I would expect them to continue doing that more than anything else, because it just has worked. And maybe they're like, okay, actually, no, we are going to keep doing that. We're just talking about these other games. But that feels pretty wishy-washy to me. This is hard data saying this. To me, this continues to be the future. That's my guess.
Yeah, I mean, 5.7 million copies, $320 million can't be wrong, right? That does not lie. Right. So they to want to completely remove themselves from the PlayStation ecosystem after having this sort of performance and the other two in the story, which we'll get to in a second, is wild to me. The fact that they would even consider that is stupid. That $320 million is not something you can just leave on the table. You can't do it. So timed exclusive, the more I read, the more I think about it, just seems to be the way of the future for them. Whether they find it is another story. But one quick side story I would love to get some comment on. I don't think it'll ever happen. How are you feeling if you're the Gran Turismo team right now? I mean, Forza 5, Horizon 5. Gran Turismo sells fine on its own, but your biggest competitor just came in and ate your lunch.
Yeah,
like,
I think
how long?
I think this is selling better than anyone was expecting. But Sony gets a lot of that money, so I'm sure they're happy. And if you're the Gran Turismo team, here's the thing. My understanding is Gran Turismo is doing really well. It is doing the thing where it sells well out of the gate, but then it builds its community for a long period of time. And that's worked for all these games, and apparently maybe 7's doing better at that than any of them. So I don't have a ton of insight into that space, but when I look, that is the takeaway that I've had. So hopefully it's like everyone can just win here. And
that would be good.
It's like the mattress district in your city where it's like, oh, why are there so many mattress stores here? But it turns out it's like, no, just economically that works out for everybody. Putting all these things next to each other actually attracts more buyers, so everybody wins.
That's a good point. Chat is correcting my course here. Gran Turismo 7 is more of a hardcore simulation, like Forza Motorsport.
Yes.
Horizon's more of an arcade racer, so they can coexist.
Yes, and Motorsport kind of crashed and burned a little bit, and is actually no threat to Gran Turismo 7, it seems like, in this moment. Sure. All right, let's continue here. Rockstar leak reveals why GTA 6 PC launch is on the back burner. This is from Eliza Crichton-Stewart. Listen, I think I generally agree with that takeaway, but let's get into it. A hacking group breached Rockstar Games. The studio confirmed a limited amount of internal data was accessed through a third-party breach, and then the group followed through on its threat to release the data after its demands went unmet. Now, of course, the data was all about how much money Rockstar makes from GTA Online, and its market cap went up $1 billion yesterday, 2%. Because of this. So the Rockstar and Take-Two do not seem like they are doing too poorly based on that leak. But that leak did have some other data, which is, as Eliza writes here, could make some PC players a little uncomfortable. And that is a 97% split, where 97% of the spending on GTA Online on a weekly basis is on a console, where 3% is on a PC. That is a massive difference. Now, part of me would say, like, time is linear, right? So you have to look at the fact that GTA came out on consoles first, and that's where a lot GTA 5 came out on consoles first. That's where a lot of people bought it. The people who are most likely to be into GTA Online, and so those people just kind of carried forward, got their GTA Online account when it launched, and stuck to console, and now that's where most of those people are. Now, the number is so extreme that can't be that there is a different community of GTA player on the PC that is mostly using mods, maybe mostly playing the role-playing game, mostly trying stuff that is created by the community, and that the thing with GTA 6 is they bought all that stuff. Rockstar now owns all that stuff, and they are going to, like, that is going to be a major thing. I'm like, I want to do something more about GTA 6, Jason, where it's like, I think it might be doing too much. I think that it's one of the scariest launches for a company in the history of this industry because, as we know, because of this reporting, this game, the shark cards alone make $500 million a year, $500 million a year, and that doesn't include how much money the game is making from just selling in retail. So it's probably making about $1 billion a year, mostly because people want GTA Online shark cards from those retail packages. So if they screw that up, it's like that is so much money that could just disappear overnight. So yeah, but like them not launching on PC, I think is partly due to this number. It's also due to the fact that they love the idea of just launching on console, then a year later having another launch on PC, then a year after that having another launch on the new generation of consoles that do often launch in that time frame for them. And they just love hitting those beats, and it has always worked out for them. And then they really can focus on where the big spenders are for them on the console in that first year. So that all sounds right to me. What do you think?
That makes perfect sense. And the data that you have here kind of leads into that. PC was $264,000 a week. Xbox One was just under $1 million at $918,000. PS4, $947,000. And then Xbox Series X 1.8, PS5 4.5. The fact that the previous generation of consoles is still pulling nearly $1 million a week in revenue from GTA Online. Tells you everything you need to know about their approach. And even though it's silly, even though it borders on Skyrim levels on your Skyrim now is available on your TI-83 calculator or whatever the joke is, it works.
Yeah.
People are still pouring money into this game from 10-year-old consoles at this point, more than that. So as silly as it sounds, and as much as PC players may not want to hear this, they're probably going to have to wait a little while because it works for Rockstar. And now, whether or not they have to wait as long because of the role-playing purchases that you mentioned, that remains to be seen. I imagine someone in Rockstar is going to be like, well, we bought all this stuff. We can't have them waiting this long for the GTA 6 stuff. They're going to have our heads. Yeah. So maybe it's 6 months. I don't know if it'll be a year or whatever.
Yeah, it could be anything like that. Just like what they did for GTA 5 was year. I don't think it'll be that exact same time frame, but it'll be the exact same strategy.
Yeah, and I think the PC announcement will come, but I just don't think it's going to be as long as it's been in the past, if that makes sense.
Yep, absolutely. I will just read that paragraph of all the platform breakdown just for everybody so they have those numbers because it is interesting. PS5 sits at the top of the GTA Online earnings pile, reportedly pulling in $4.5 million per week. Xbox Series X follows at $1.8 million per week. Then PS4 at $947,000. Then Xbox One at $918,000. Basically the same amount of money as the PS4. And then finally, PC at $264,000. I do think that a lot of the posturing we're seeing from Xbox right now is let's just put ourselves in the best situation possible to have people maybe buy Grand Theft Auto 6 on an Xbox. Because if we get those people locked in on our console, our platform, whatever it is, we're going to get a lot of that money for a long time, and we really don't want to miss out on that. And if that works out, we can build on that because this stuff is actually what really fuels the money that these console manufacturers make on their systems.
Yep.
All right, let's keep going here. PS5 sales reached years high as consumers race to beat Sony's price increases. A lot of juicy stories today. This is from Andy Robinson at VGC. PlayStation 5 hardware sales reportedly reached year highs in the U.S. earlier this month as consumers raced to beat Sony's significant price increases. Late last month, Sony confirmed plans to increase the price of its console by at least $100 across the board. Notably, the premium PlayStation 5 console increased by $150 and now retails for $900. According to Circana's retail tracking service, U.S. weekly unit and dollar sales of the PlayStation 5 hardware reached 2026 highs during the week ending April 4th, right as the price increases went into effect. So it appears that many consumers impulsively bought hardware before the price jumps. Matt Piscatella said that the U.S. spending on video game hardware for the week nearly doubled when compared to the same week a year ago. Not too surprising. God, it's almost a strategy to raise your price at this point. People really do rush out to get the old price. We saw the same thing happen with when the tax incentives expired on EVs, where like the sales of EVs like shot up crazily in that month beforehand, and then they plummeted back to earth. I would expect the same thing to happen here. People did act, and now we just got to wait and see. Okay, how do these new prices settle in? Are people still buying PS5s after that? That's still a question. What do you think?
This is why the PS5 price increase didn't happen the next day. That's why they gave it some time to breathe, because they knew that this was going to happen. Honestly, good for them, but I don't know. I don't really see a lot of good hardware sales news for quite some time, especially with $900 premium consoles like that. That number. Remember when we laughed at derisively at $599 US? Remember when that became a meme? Yeah. And now we're $300 over that in this timeline. It's absolutely insane. Pescatella, which you have to say like this, also says that he said it nearly doubled when compared to the same week a year ago, which makes sense because there wasn't a major price increase coming a year ago.
Oh, no. It was a year ago. You're right. Yeah. So that's year over year. Yep.
Yeah. Same week, year over year. And we're not quite in the Oh no, because the Switch 2 pre-order window hasn't happened yet, right? It was going to, but then the random delay happened. Well, we know why.
That's right. God,
remember that? And that wild nonsense, and then all of a sudden we were up at 1:00 in the morning on a Thursday trying to pre-order that son of a bitch.
Yeah, we had that great stream. Yeah, that was fun.
But so I get it. I get why this happened. I don't think PlayStation should expect any success like this anytime soon.
Oh, they know.
The ship has sailed, at least not until the prices come back down, whenever the hell that happens.
I mean, I think their hope is that they don't see any good hardware news until GTA 6, and then GTA 6 sort of washes the slate clean, and then these new numbers, these prices emerge after the GTA 6 launch as like, this is the new world, and people are buying the system to play GTA 6. And so now people have just accepted it. This is the cost to play that game.
That is a problem.
Yeah, and I think we have to wait and see what that actually looks like, because we don't know that that's going to be the case. This is very expensive. People have been playing that game for a long time. Maybe they're like, I'll wait and see how I feel about this one. I've moved on in my life a little bit, but it's GTA. I doubt that's going to happen. So, but we'll see for ourselves. All right. Last story here. A restful trails to Jock Blaney, who was the voice of Wolf O'Donnell and Bill Gray in Star Fox 64. He has passed away. We have a sad update to share as Jock Blaney, who had voice acting roles in Star Fox 64, has passed away. Although he died last month, the news only just started making the rounds today. Blaney played Wolf O'Donnell and Bill Gray in the Nintendo Classic. Bill isn't quite as well known, but Wolf has been a series mainstay. Blaney only played Wolf in Star Fox 64, and the role has changed voice actors since. That is a lot of those voice lines ring in my head all the time, constantly.
When I saw this headline, I knew you were getting stories together, and I was afraid that you might miss it. So I said,
you sent it over.
Can't let you do that, Jeff Grubb. So I sent it over, and this guy, you're good, but I'm better. Can't let you do that. They ring in my head too, and Bill as well. But the two of them, Bill's an underrated character, maybe not my favorite, but the way that his voice has impacted my gaming life just by being a part of that game, which is a seminal part of my gaming career, for lack of a better term. He really has enriched me in ways that I didn't really feel until after hearing about his passing. You go back and think about it. You're like, wow, Wolf O'Donnell in that game. I have quoted him just as much as any other video game character ever. So it's a shame, sad to see, but his voice will live on forever in an absolute classic. Play the game now. It's on Switch 2. It's on the Switch Online expansion, is it not?
Absolutely it is. That's how I played it after the movie. Yeah,
I that shit up today in tribute to Jock.
I would almost argue that performances like his, and specifically his performance in that game, is why it made so much sense when we got the puppet versions of the characters for Star Fox for the Wii U or whatever it's called. I can never remember the name. And because it's yes, thank you. This is what great voice acting in the game sounded like in the 90s. It was just these people almost puppeting a character and bringing it to life the way you would a childhood character. And there's a reason it sticks with us. It's because it's just delivered with such gusto. And so once again, restful trails. You will be missed. All right, that does it for the headlines. Let's get to the poll question from Monday. I have the results over here. Thank you to Jan, as always, for posting it. Have you ever played Starfield? Your options were yes, now that it's on PS5, and no. Only 2% of people said yes, now that it's on the PS5. So, it was looking like it was doing okay on the platform. With this audience, didn't move the needle much. I bet a lot of people just found a way to play that game if they knew that they wanted to play it. And the fact that it's on PlayStation now hasn't changed that all that much for this audience specifically. 47% said no, and 52% said yes, they have played Starfield. This was going to be a moment for this game to get positive word of mouth again, to be like, look at all the ways that this game has improved since launch. That is not the story going on about it right now. It is, once again, Bethesda launched a game in a very messy state, right?
Yes, Bethesda and a messy PS3 launch. Name a more iconic duo. Getting Skyrim vibes or Oblivion vibes, even from 20 years ago. I'm not surprised. I mean, after the Pete Hines thing a couple days ago, he was talking about why one of his reasons for leaving was it just didn't feel right. Something didn't feel right. Now, then again, Bethesda's been making this mistake for 20 years, so this one's just old hat.
This feels very right, yeah.
But but I don't know. I'm not. It's just another part of the timeline of Bethesda that just makes me really like. I want to like you guys, but something. I like Starfield on Xbox. I did enjoy that. And I like the story, the story choice in particular, how it's a cyclical. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but it's got a cyclical nature to it that I thought was a really cool, really innovative idea. But jank doesn't surprise me. And if they were hoping for this to kind of steer the ship on Starfield, where it can maybe make a recovery tour, I think it's got to go back into the shop for a little while.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I would, for me, at this point, let's begin sunsetting it. Let's get to work on Elder Scrolls 6. That I've been watching Chuck play as Mr. Mistopheles in 9 Lives for the last several weeks, and boy, I like Skyrim a whole bunch. I know it's not for everybody, but it is very much for me. And I do need them to recapture the magic with this next game. It's a tall ask, but they need to figure it out. All right, let's see here. New poll question. We'll get to it here in a second. Before we do that, though, Jason, why don't you tell people where they can find you on the internet, what you have going on, all that good stuff. Tell them about opening night as well.
I will. So jasonfanelli.com on Blue Sky, Big Man Fanelli on Instagram. That's where I'm really mostly active. A couple of business things I can talk about. Did review Pragmata for MMORPG, as I mentioned. Also, a good friend of mine named Eddie Inzauto, the second editor I ever had, GamerNode, in 2009, has a retro gaming podcast called Smashing Bricks. And he invited me on to talk about Super Mario 64, Mario being very relevant right now with the Galaxy movie out. Talked about that for an hour. That was great. And then the Patreon exclusive, like little side episode where we tier listed the 3D Mario games. We did 64, Sunshine, Galaxy and Galaxy 2, 3D Land, 3D World, Odyssey, and we counted Bowser's Fury as its own thing to have an even 8. So that if you subscribe to the Patreon, as little $1 a month, I think you can get access to that too, and you can yell at me for my choices. That did that, and then I don't know if it's out yet. Last night, the radio fellas that I used to work with when I had my podcast here in Philly, Cheesesteaks and Controllers, brought me on for the annual WrestleMania Roundtable. Talked about WrestleMania coming up on Saturday and Sunday and how we feel about that. For better or for worse, Pat McAfee, spoiler, can go fly a kite. And then, yes, as you mentioned, my theater group opens this Friday. 6 shows, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday out here in suburban Philadelphia. The Little Mermaid. My daughter, Olivia, is Flounder for 3 of those 6 shows. Her first ever leading role, her first ever speaking role, if I'm really honest. Very excited about that. Final dress rehearsal is this evening. So if you do happen to follow me on those social medias, be prepared for a lot of fish because it's going to be coming for the next 2 weekends. I am just a chorus guy this time, 5 different costumes. I do like how this theater group likes to take some creative liberties with their plays that will probably make a certain Mike Minotti sick. Like Under the Sea, we're a bunch of sea creatures. We're a bunch of sea creatures. They told me I could be a turtle. They told 3 different guys we could be turtles, and we're all on the same line. If there's 4 turtles, we have to be certain turtles, right?
Oh, so, of course. That's actually, he would like that, I bet.
I am Leo, and then we have Mike, Donnie, and Raph. We always have a number that we shoehorn in that lets the kids be featured, and right in the beginning, we're going to let them do Baby Shark. It's Under the Sea. It makes sense. Another creative liberty we've taken there. We have a lot of fun with this. We used to call ourselves a drinking group with a theater problem, so it's real low-key. It's a lot of fun. It's I'm very excited. So look for the pictures this weekend, and yeah, should be good.
Absolutely, that's fantastic. Tell you what, changing gears a little bit. I keep seeing all these great decomps happening on PC. The one I just discovered, I did not hear about this, happened a month ago. Street Fighter 3 Third Strike got decompiled for PC, and I need the community to go fucking nuts on that because I need to see just everything that they can do to make that the best version it possibly can be. Give me a version of WarioWare that is just variations on stuff that happens in Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. That would rule.
The old online trials from the 360 version where you had to do Evo 37.
Oh, yes, exactly. That would rule. Oh, my God.
That would rule.
Just do a ton of stuff with that, everybody. Let's get to work. Okay. Did I do the new poll question? Let's see right here. Are you getting Forza Horizon 6 in May? Yes. No. No, I'll get it later. And no, I'll wait for the PS5 release. Go ahead and drop your response in that poll on YouTube, on youtube.com/@giantbomb. You go to the post tabs. You can find it there. We'll get the results, talk about it on the show tomorrow here on Giant Bomb. Speaking of Giant Bomb, it is Wednesday. It's time to return to the Blight Club mines. Dan's got like 40 minutes left in Space Ace, everybody. And I'm not even next. It's Jacob Geller next. I'm never going to have to play a game again. Things are good. Things are good. But yeah, let's tune in for that today. I think he's going to continue figuring this game out. I think people are going to be surprised by how much progress he makes today. So let's get in there and see what that looks like. Looking forward to it myself. And then, of course, the rest of the expected stuff will be happening on Giant Bomb. But you should go read Dan's review for Tomodachi Life on the website right now. All right. I think we're good. I think we cleared everything up. Jason Fanelli, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and talking about video games, man. I really appreciate it.
Always a pleasure. Always here to help. And until next time.
Thank you, everybody for watching. Thank you, everybody, for listening. No, we can't talk about Dan's mainline game list right now. I'm too shoot hot about it, everybody. We can talk about it next time. Thank you once again. You're the best audience in gaming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself. Goodbye.